right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. As always, we got Adam, Chris, and I'm Keith. Alex is on vacation this week, so we're just gonna get down to it here. But before we get down into it, make sure you're hitting hit that like button, subscribe. It's free to you, helps us grow the channel. Come down and just party with us.
Just party with us.
Just party with us.
Yeah. Come party with us.
That's the new tag right there. That's the new slogan.
So, what we're going to get into tonight, we're closing in on the end of the NBA Finals. Golden State's got a 3-2 lead. So my question is, with what's happened so far, who is your current NBA Finals MVP with everything that's happened in the 5 games that we've seen so far?
5 games so far. I think you have to give it to Steph. He had an off night. He's human. It happened.
Well, they finally decided to play defense on the man.
Yeah, but still.
But even still, he was still a great facilitator of the ball in Game 5, and still wound up getting the ball to people who were putting the points up. So.
Yeah, I mean, he is human. He's not Superman out there every night dropping 30, but I think so far, I think right now it's got to be Steph. The real question, I think, then comes into play. If it does go Game 7 and Golden State ends up losing,
that was going to be my next question. Was if it comes down to it and Golden State loses the next 2, can you still give the MVP to Steph in a losing effort, depending on what he does in Game 6 and 7?
If he comes out and has, I know he's right now a better player than what I'm about to say. But, if you come out and put up, a Luka Doncic effort when you score 40 points, or a Jimmy Butler effort and you put up 40 points and your team ends up losing, you put it all out there. You did what you were supposed to do.
Right.
As the scorer of the team, if you go out there and drop 40, 10, and... seven rebounds, whatever, and you do that in your last 2 games and you still end up losing, then he has a strong argument to be like, look, from Game 1 to Game 7, I was the best player in this series, top to bottom. Granted, my team didn't turn out on top, but I did what I needed to do to put my team in position to win.
Make that win.
Yeah, and so if he's able to come out and put up 35-plus point dominant games in 6 and 7, if they lose it, I still think he's got to be in contention for it. On the flip side of this coin, right now I think you're looking at Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum probably for Boston are your 2.
But Tatum hadn't even done that much, to be honest.
Really, I feel like it's Jaylen Brown.
He's had a horrible. I mean, he's been putting up the points, but statistically, for the shots that he's putting up, and the amount that he's actually making, I mean, he's not been that great over the 5 games in the finals.
That's what I would think. Jaylen Brown, what I would say, would kind of have the edge right now to him.
Right.
If he comes out and has 2 really good games and his team ends up winning, I can see them giving it to Jaylen Brown. But if he comes out and just has an average night on both nights and they still win, then and Steph comes out and has 35 plus, I think Steph wins it or should win it, whether or not they win the series or not.
Is there anybody on the Warriors side that you can see to win it over Steph?
Andrew Wiggins.
I say Wiggins has played a great finals. Yeah.
I mean, Wiggins started slow in Game 1. He had double digits in Game 2, or he had 20 points in Game 1, but he didn't really, wasn't as effective outside of 20 points. The Game 2, I would say, is probably his worst game, where he's 11-6. But since then, I mean,
he's been averaging 28 games.
Game 5, I mean, he freaking went off.
Yeah.
17 rebounds. He had 13 rebounds in Game 4. So, I mean, he's
flipped the switch these last 2 games.
This is a stretch. He has played almost what Kevin Durant would have played for this team.
Minus the scoring?
Minus, an extra 20 points of scoring.
Right.
He's not putting up 45, but he's over 20 in the last
He's putting up what he needs to do for his team.
He's been the rebounder, the defender, the shot blocker that you would have
that you expect Draymond to be.
Durant. Yeah, well, you should assume Draymond would be, but that's the last person that's going to get a Finals MVP. I can tell you that. But
So
I actually to go back on the Tatum thing, I actually like it. Has he not made the amount of shots that he probably would like? Yes. Has he put up some really good games? I mean, you're looking here in Game 4, 23 and 11 by him. 28 in Game 2. Game 3, he had 26, 9 assists and 6 rebounds. I mean, Tatum's in last game at double-double, 27 and 10. So, I mean, he's played outside of Game 1, where he played very badly and they still won somehow. He has played well.
they won because of Al Horford. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, absolutely.
They won because of Al Horford.
Who has become a ghost. Like, this dude was nothing in the last 4 games, basically.
Yeah.
So,
But
I mean,
He shot a shot in Game 1. That's all he had.
apparently, I mean, he used all his juju. Yeah, he used 8 of his 9 lives in Game 1, apparently.
So the way I see it though is Tatum's done what he's done all year. He hasn't put out that superstar effort. Like he hadn't gone out and put you 30 plus, 35 plus. He hasn't put that.
he did in 2 games against Miami.
He did it, yeah.
Miami scored like 48 one game against Miami.
No, yeah, absolutely. But that's what if he wants to think about an MVP or
If
finals
he wants to
MVP,
keep his team in this series,
That's
he's
what
going
he
to
needs.
need
He's put
that.
up 40 points again.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going to need that. Maybe not here at home in Game 6, but if he wants to win the NBA championship Game 7, he's going to have to drop 40.
yeah,
And he's going to have to do it efficiently. It can't be, 17 on 48 shooting.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to have to be a 17 on 26 shooting kind of game.
yeah.
So now, another question that I have for you is, can you see this? So say Boston comes back and wins the next 2, and they go out and they give the MVP to somebody on Boston. Would you consider that to be? And let's say Steph still puts up big points in 6 and 7. Could you see this being something like it was back in 2016, 2017 when they gave the MVP to Iguodala over LeBron, who was averaging a triple double in the finals?
Yeah, I mean,
Even
Though LeBron lost, but he was averaging a triple double in the finals,
yeah.
and they gave Iguodala the MVP. So, but I don't think there's been I think the last person I can remember that won an MVP
on the losing
on
side.
the losing team. Can y'all know who it is?
I have no idea.
Steve Nash, man. I don't
No.
know. I
So
don't
the
know.
last one I can remember was Mr. Logo himself,
Jerry West.
Mr. Jerry West, won an MVP and
I
was on the losing side of the finals.
I thought they did. I thought the last.
That's the last one I can remember, or the
I thought
only
there was
one that I
one-
remember. I guess
I thought
should
that
say.
was one like early 2000.
But so I guess that'd be my question: is do you see them skipping over Steph if he goes out and averages 35 for the next 2 games, but somehow still loses the finals? Do you see them giving Steph the MVP as a loser, or do you see them giving it to a Tatum who has had a good obviously you just read the stats out.
Who's had a good
who's
series.
had a decent series, but he's not been at the level that Steph has been.
He's not been elite. He's not been, this is another argument for another day. Like, is Jason Tatum a superstar in the NBA? He's on that borderline between a really good player, a superstar, but he certainly is not between a superstar and elite.
I don't think
He's not a top 10, top 15, maybe
he's not a
top
Giannis.
20 player in the league.
He's not a Giannis. He's not a Luka. He's not a Steph. He's not somebody that I think he can put
A
a team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're saying you don't think he's top 10 in the league?
He's definitely not top 10 in the league. No, I can name 10 better players in the NBA.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but
That's like I
But-
said, that's a different
I
argument.
can say that
that
with confidence. But what I'll say is, like, he's had a good enough series that I think he has the statistical backing. If his team comes back, they win 2 games, he probably is going to get the MVP. They don't like to give it, like you said, the last player to get it was Jerry West. I looked it up. That is true. It is the
That
last.
is the last
He's
player.
the last player to win a Finals MVP on a losing team. So, I mean, you know that if Boston wins this is going to end up being a Jaylen Brown or Tatum. It's probably going to end up being Tatum.
Yeah.
Tatum is outscored. He's got more rebounds. He's got more assists. While he isn't as effective as Jaylen Brown,
I think Jaylen Brown has been a better asset to the team in the finals.
absolutely,
Than Jason
absolutely,
Tatum.
he's been the more efficient player.
Right. That's what.
So-
So I mean, but I guess that was my question was, if Boston still comes back to win, do you think they give it to somebody in Boston because they won?
Yeah.
Or do you think?
Yeah.
Or do you think they discredit Steph because he wasn't able to get it done? Or is it just because they're going to give it to the winning team?
I think you got to look at
Because this is the one thing that's looming over Steph that he doesn't have.
yeah.
That's the only thing he doesn't have. He doesn't have an MVP, a Finals MVP. He has everything else in the world, but this is the one thing he doesn't have.
That's
Well,
what
he's got a
I'm
good shot at it. I mean, if his team wins one more game, he's probably getting it. I mean,
Well, the
as
game
much
four,
as-
the game four alone gave him the MVP.
Yeah.
If they win, that performance in game 4 alone gave him the MVP.
Well,
I mean, getting fouled every single shot he goes up on,
Yeah.
and still draining him.
You look at it, he scored 31 in game 3. You go back to game 2, he scored 29.
And he put up what 40 in game 4.
Yeah, he put up 43, and then even in game 1, he put up 34. So
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
He's been
it's not
playing.
a
He's
lot.
been playing at an elite level
yeah,
throughout the
game
series.
5 was his game, and you know what? You can knock him for only scoring 16 points, but the guy had 8 assists. He was plus 15 on his
Right.
plus or minus. Like
That's what I'm saying.
He was a really
he was
efficient player.
still a great facilitator of the ball
Yeah.
because Boston.
He did what he needed to do.
Boston made it a point to double team him that entire game.
Yeah.
So, and what do you do when you double team somebody? You give it off to
Somebody's
somebody
open.
else, then they got to step up.
Somebody's
Which,
open.
I mean, they did with Andrew Wiggins, and I mean, Wiggins had a decent game. Who else? I mean, there was a bunch of
I
people
mean,
that had
Clay
good games.
scored 21.
Yeah,
Wiggins
I mean-
scored 26. Gary Payton scored 15. Jordan Poole scored 14. So
Yeah, so I mean, your
Other people
your
found-
role
other people
player,
found
your,
their strokes.
your other role players
Yeah.
stepped up and did what they had to do.
I mean, Andrew Wiggins.
And I mean,
If Andrew Wiggins if this thing goes 7 and Andrew Wiggins puts up game 6 and game 7 the same as he did game 4 and game 5, there might be a conversation. You're
he
talking
puts
about
a
a guy-
double again.
well, a guy put up 17 and 16 in game 4, and then he turned around put up 26 and 13 in game 5.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, if you followed up with a 25 and 12 and a
Another 25 and 12.
32 and 10,
yeah,
Right.
you know,
like, yeah. I mean, Andrew Wiggins might have a chance here.
Okay, so if it comes down to that, and let's say Steph goes versus his 34 and 30. You know,
Oh, if Steph
do you?
if Steph scores over 30 in game 6 and game 7, he's getting it. It is what it is. I mean, he's been the better player throughout the whole spectrum.
Well, no, I get that, but if we're going off the numbers, I mean, Andrew Wiggins is doing this, as a role player.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, been the second best player on the team. Like, don't get me wrong, Clay and Draymond carry the names, but Andrew Wiggins has been the second best performer throughout the series for the Warriors.
So
So.
he's loving that trade every single day.
Oh my God, to not be in Minnesota? Listen, I like Minnesota. I think they're a good team. I think Anthony Edwards and Cat can get something together. They need a little bit more time to mature, but no, Andrew Wiggins won that by a mile.
Absolutely.
So,
But I think they will slight Steph Curry if Boston comes back and wins. And it's just precedence being set that MVP has
should be from the winner.
has been and always will be. It seems like from the winning team, even if, like you're saying,
Even if Steph is clearly the best player on the court,
yeah,
on either side of
on
the ball.
either side of the ball, or either side of either team, the loser typically just doesn't get the nod. Again, like you say, Jerry West was the last to do it, so it's been 2-3 decades.
It's been at least 40 years.
Yeah.
let us know in the comments who you think should be the NBA Finals MVP, and as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.